Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com. Hey y'all, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here. It's Thursday. Still trying to come up with the name for Thursdays. We've had some suggestions. We've had non-Bravo breakdown. We've had Beyond Bravo. We've had some good suggestions. I'm trying to just kind of keep it kind of some Bravo, some not Bravo on Thursdays. But today I have my good friend here to talk to me about a little bit of Bravo, a little bit of everything, because it always goes sideways. It's my friend, Doug Budin. Hey, Doug.
Well, hello, and I have to stop you right there. Are you trying to rename Thursday? What's wrong with just saying Thursday?
There's nothing wrong with it. So Thursdays, we've kind of generally been Bravo breakdown. So because during the first part of the week, we do a 90-day, we might do Love After Lockup. We're doing a show right now, Match Me Abroad, a lot of TLC, WeTV type of trash. And on Thursdays, we sort of do everything we're watching on Bravo as a whole, instead of like one by one, because there's a lot of great podcasts that do that already. So, but I like to talk about things other than Bravo. Like last week I had on Landon, who has a great Instagram called Landon Talks, where he talks about all the Southern phrases. And this week I'm having you, and we won't only talk about Bravo. So I'm just trying to sort of put it in a new mind frame that it's not going to always be just Bravo. It's going to be, I want to talk to podcasters like I used to do on Payne and the Pod. I just kind of want to mixed bag, if you will.
Okay. I'm going to put some thoughts down.
Okay. If you have some thoughts, because some people are really good with coming up with like ideas of things like that, like slogans and logos and what, and it is just somehow not in my wheelhouse.
I'm really good with names. We've actually talked about this on air. Like when we're doing a game, I'm really good at coming up with the name. I don't ever know what the actual game is, but I always come up with it. I remember once we were pitching like Christmas things like games to play right before we went on like holiday break, and I had this game that I was calling Ho Ho Who, and everybody loved it. I'm like, great, what's the game? I said, I don't know what the game is. I just know the game.
Is it a ho or is it a who? Is basically
it was basically what I was thinking. Is like you show a picture of someone and are they a ho or are they sort of not a ho? But as long as you said Ho Ho Who, that's all that I cared about.
Oh, Doug, you guys know, and if you don't know, Doug is a regular on Jeff Lewis Live, a show on Radio Andy, and now Jeff has his own channel, 789, on, it's just called the Jeff Lewis channel. I think we're just calling it like Radio Jeff, but I think he doesn't like that. But he doesn't know me, so I can say what I want. But yeah, but it's a separate channel, and our friends over here, friends of the pod, Brandy and Julie, are over there doing an after show, and they're having, Chumps Weigh In. They're doing Chumps Happy Hour, which I listened to this week, and also doing Flipping Out Friday, where Julie and Brandy are one by one going to watch all 11 seasons of Flipping Out. They just did episode 1, episode 2 of season 1, and that's really fun for the people that maybe don't have Sirius XM but did watch Flipping Out. The rewatch of Flipping Out is I'm not rewatching it. I don't have to. I've watched all of it a million times, but just hearing them break each episode down, you're like, oh yeah. And you remember how with the turning of the water bottles in the fridge and all the weird things that we first found out about Jeff,
It's also amazing for Brandy and Julie, who I know them from watching them on the People's Couch, where what they get to do, they got paid to watch TV, and here they are getting paid to rewatch TV. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great for them, and they're very funny with it. And it's funny how they are finding themselves sexually attracted to Jeff, which is really funny. They've been talking about his accent and how he sounds like he's from Connecticut. And he's like, no, I don't like that. And they've been talking like, does he talk like that?
Strange Mid-Atlantic twang for an Orange County youth. Exactly.
Yeah, and so I told you that I asked you right away. Randy and Julie told me a while back about this thing they were doing, but because I can keep a secret, I didn't tell anybody. But then when they announced it, I wrote to you, or perhaps I wrote to you before and said, surely they have to give you a show. This is what the people want. And if you're not going to tell me if they are, if they're not, because you are a vault. But I think if you got a show, it should be a travel advice show where people call in and ask for travel advice. Because if I have a travel advice, I always ask you.
Right. Well, listen, from your mouth to God's ears. I think, they got to let the channels settle in. Obviously, they're planning to bring a lot more programming on. I agree with you. I would love the opportunity to have something on Jeff's channel. I would love to do, an entertaining travel, cooking, call-in advice, sort of, all things Doug that I'm passionate about. So yes, that is something I would love to do. And poo, as we say, something will happen eventually.
Doug, what I'm just thinking about? There was a great show that we covered over on Pink Shade Prime, Supercast and Patreon, which was Jewish matchmaking. Now,
I watched an episode. I watched two. No, wait.
Or was Indian matchmaking?
Oh, no. I watched Jewish matchmaking on Netflix. 3 episodes.
Yeah, we covered the whole thing because we covered all of Indian matchmaking as well, which is just a phenomenal show. But Jewish matchmaking. So Kimberly of A Date with Dateline is a Jewish girl, and so she did it with me. She's single, and we just had the best time talking about it. I was more obsessed with the Orthodox versus Flexodox versus like full kosher, full not, people that are vegan, people that are not. So interesting, and I'm so interested in the wig situation with the ladies and you have all your hair, but you put a wig on that looks just like your hair on top of your hair.
You have to. And the amount of money that those women spend getting their wigs styled. In fact, my friend Aubrey Lutz, who's from South Africa, he had this salon on Beverly Boulevard right in the heart of where a lot of the Orthodox community lives. And he had a room in his salon just where the women would come and drop off their wigs, because he had to be very careful that it was, it was only going to be like with those wigs, that which stylists were going to go in there. And he said they would spend a fortune getting these wigs styled. I mean, I grew up, I grew up very sort of like lowercase J Jewish. So, in Reform, women don't wear wigs.
Right.
By rule, but certainly a lot of people I know grew up in homes that were Orthodox.
It's fascinating to me because the matchmaker herself grew up very Reform, very Flexodox, very loosey-goosey, and then loosey-goosey is what I was trying to say. God, she
I wanted to, but I really didn't. I was just like, well, this is her podcast. We'll just do what Mary Payne
But the woman, Eliza, the matchmaker, she and her husband both became very Orthodox at around the same time in their adulthood or in their 20s. And so they did the whole Nadir Shada, whatever it's called, where they don't kiss or touch or anything till the wedding.
Yeah.
And they neither one grew up like that. It's very interesting.
I think not just in Judaism. I think as people get older, a lot of times they become more in touch with their religion. And then as people get old, they become even more in touch with their religion, because you're sort of looking for comfort, or you're looking for companionship, or you're looking for something to believe in.
Yes.
And that's when people become reconnected to their religion. As I said, I grew up super Reform. And then, now I'm in my 50s. I started going to Friday night services at a temple that I'm a member of, like once every 6 weeks, which I never thought that would be me, but I like to go because I like the music, and every now and then there's like a cute guy, and I try to figure out, if he's single.
There you go.
But
see,
it's like, but I'm not yet. I don't really feel like I'm part of that community. Like I don't really socialize with anybody there. But sometimes it's just you want that connection, and also as we get older, we look back to things that we're missing from our childhood, or that our family traditions. So much of religion, in my mind, the practicing of religion is so much about tradition, keeping up the traditions that you grew up with, incorporating those traditions into your life and passing them on. So I think that makes sense that people sort of get more and more in line with that as they get older.
Well, that was a great show, and I'm just thinking. We're trying to figure out. We're going to get Kimberly on it for next season. She's not on board, of course, but now I'm like, maybe we should pitch Doug Budin as a contestant on Jewish matchmatching.
Oh God, no, no, not if it's going to be public. Not if anyone's going to watch it. No,
They're going to watch it. Yeah.
No, I can't do it, Mary Payne. I don't like doing those kinds of things in public.
I know. You're very private, and you, like I said, you are a vault. You could keep a secret like nobody's business.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that. I really work hard at keeping secrets. I mean, it's like, it makes me sort of, I guess, boring, but people know that I am safe. I really don't reveal secrets. I really don't.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't. And sometimes he knows something. He'll be like, I don't know. I'm like, yes, you do. Damn it.
But here's the other problem is I don't lie. Because of all that Quaker schooling that I had, they really were so strict about just always being truthful. So I say that I sort of aim for diplomacy or being like the diplomatic answer. Like, I don't like to lie, but sometimes you can't tell the truth. So you just say, listen, I can't tell you. And that's it.
Well, that's why you'd be great on an advice show.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Poo.
Right. Well, speaking of people that need advice, we're going to do like a quick sort of zip through what's happening in Bravo right now.
Okay.
New Jersey.
Bravo Zip.
No, I don't like it. No, I don't like it.
Fine.
So, final thoughts on the Louis, Teresa, Joe, Melissa situation in Jersey.
Oh.
Don't say it's sad and they should make up. Don't say that.
No, I don't think it's sad. I think it's ugly. I really think it's ugly. I have such a hard time watching such terrible behavior. And it was interesting. I listened to Andy Cohen live, and he was, I guess a lot of people commented to him that he was being mean to Teresa at one point. I feel like he should sit all of these casts down and say, none of you is irreplaceable. And this show is not about any one of you. It's about all of you. And so, because so many of those people just start to act so entitled when they say my show and my this and you. I don't like it. I don't like seeing it. I don't like hearing it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that I have to be on one side versus another. I think that there's just a lot of sort of deplorable behavior. But if I'm going to choose, I do think that Teresa's behavior was sort of the ugliest from my perspective, from my view. And I think that Louis seems like sort of aggressively creepy. That whole Bo Dietl of it, that was, if it was fake, then if it was made up, then why would he say it? He would say it to get attention. Why are you doing something just to get attention? Like, I also feel, and this is my own thing, is like all of these casts of these shows are now so self-aware. And it's not to say that that's just not the evolution of these kinds of shows, but when you think back to what got us drawn in originally, there was, I think, more, I don't want to say authenticity, but just less of a self-awareness. People now, these casts are like, feeling like they need to be an archetype. I'm the villain. I'm the pot stirrer. And you even hear them say that publicly. They'll say, well, they didn't bring me on for this. They brought me on to stir the pot or I'm just doing my job. And I wish that isn't what they thought their job was. Wow. I just got on the tallest soapbox and I apologize.
No, I asked because I feel the same. I feel that, I wanted to think that during the reunion, Teresa was sort of having a realization of, okay, I'm just hearing him lie and lie and lie. Right. Like she knows that he's saying these things and she knows it's not true. And it's so many occasions he's caught in backtracking or lying or whatever. And you're hoping that she's coming to a realization like, wow, maybe I didn't make the best decision here. Maybe I should get out while I can. But I don't think that's how this is going to play out. I think to prove everybody wrong, she's going to double down and really stay with him and show. And I I fear it's not going to turn out well for her or her kids or anything.
Yeah,
Worries me.
I see. It's interesting. I agree that maybe ultimately it won't end well. However, I've lost. It's not that I've lost interest. I've sort of lost empathy. Like, okay, well, that's her life. If there's one shift for me in the last year with that show, it's that I feel less invested to care
Mm.
or sympathize in a way that I used to, because I feel like, when I see that kind of behavior and entitlement, I'm not drawn to be compassionate. So I'm always rooting for the underdog. And so she's like, so obviously not being an underdog there.
Yeah, and I think that we saw what happened with Vicky Gunvalson saying, "You came on my show, and this is my
Mhm.
show," and
You
that
hear it
didn't.
all the time on Vanderpump also.
Hmm.
Jax did it originally, and now I guess it was James. I can't believe I'm able to provide a Vanderpump reference, but because that's one show I don't watch. But yes, this is what happens: is that it builds up. They listen to the little voices, of their followers or whatever, and they start to believe their own press.
Yeah,
That's just not in Housewives or reality television. That happens with a lot of actors. It happens, I think, across the board.
yeah. Did you like the new girls, Jen Festela and Danielle and Fuda?
I love a person where you only say their first and last name. I mean, it really, because I do that so often. I will say a person's first and last name, so I really appreciated how every time we saw Jen Fessler, it said Jen Fessler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like the new people. I thought, a little bit of that sort of self awareness creeped in very early. So, again, like they knew or they believed they knew what they signed up for.
Yeah, right.
But I appreciate there just being some new voices and new interiors and new husbands. Let's face it.
Yeah, yeah, agree. All
Not
right,
enough
done with the.
Evan. Not enough Evan is my thinking so far.
Uh, is that you mean Jackie Goldschneider's husband?
Husband, yeah. I'd like
Yes.
to
And
see more of him.
what was Danielle's husband name? He really got off scot-free, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
He's cute, and he didn't get the same. He didn't get the Fuda treatment. Fuda,
I met
Fuda.
I met a Jersey house husband this year.
Who?
I met Joe Benigno,
Marge's husband.
Margaret. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was with her and I saw him and I was like, hi. I got all excited. I really do love a house husband. So
I love the house husbands too, and I love Margaret. I'm sorry, people, like, oh, Margaret this. I'm like, how can you not
no,
love her?
she's amazing. She looks you in the eye. I introduced her to a friend of mine, and maybe 2 hours later, she came back to say goodnight. She remembered my friend's name. She asked questions. I appreciated that so much. So genuine. Loved.
So Atlanta, I've
Yeah.
been watching Atlanta. It's a little boring. The Drew Ralph thing is heating up, which is now that we know, what's happening there. It's little interesting. I mean, not that nobody could have seen this coming first season she was on with Drew and Ralph. He's so awful. He's so
Yeah.
awful.
I wanted to ask you about that. Like, since you know where it is, do you find yourself less interested in like watching these scenes play out or are you the
No,
person who's like, oh,
I'm more interested.
you are? Okay, that's good to know. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Sometimes
because
for me, I'm like, well, there's a lie, this ain't gonna work.
oh, well, he's been lying from day one, but
Yeah, didn't he? Was
she
he the
was
one who went to Florida? Did he
Tampa.
see? Yeah, he was the husband. Okay, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
It was like, you don't need to know what I was doing while I was there. And meanwhile, he had set cameras up in the house to watch them
And
while
he
they,
had the assistant who he asked for a massage, right?
yeah, like you do. Right. Hmm.
Yeah, not good. No.
Yeah. And he was just like, I don't know why you would be mad about that. He's such a gaslighter.
Yeah.
He's just so not supportive of her. But she was on Watch What Happens Live. And I guess she was asked the question, like, do you believe that Ralph was cheating on you? And she was like, no, I know it. Like, it's proven now, so good. So I'm like, good. Good. Get rid of him. You deserve better, Drew.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on anyone else that's on right now? We got Marlo, Sheree, Kenya. Sheree, man, she could pick them. Kenya, Candy, and Sonia. Now Kenya's new guy, he looks legit and cute.
Yeah, but wait, I'm wondering. No, I'm not an episode behind. Did we see his face? Have we met him?
We have seen his face like in pictures, like still photos of the show, and then we're going to see him next week.
Right. Okay. Good. The last episode was the roller skating video.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Right.
Then I am caught up. What happened was I got really screwed with Project Runway because I had to watch a couple of Project Runways to get myself caught up. And then I thought I was behind in Atlanta, but I'm not. So, okay, good. I'm all caught up. So I love Kenya. I'm excited then to see this boyfriend. She has a bad track record, the last couple.
She sure does.
Yeah.
Sure, not as bad as Sheree.
Is she still with this guy?
Kenya, from what I could tell, she is still with this guy. But Sheree always picks these losers, and Sheree deserves more.
I feel bad. I really do feel bad for Sheree. But who's? Oh no! Wait! Who just went on the date? Oh, that was Marlo who just went on the date. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Yes. Sheree was stood up last year in Philadelphia or wherever they were.
Yeah, by the prisoner. Yeah. And now she's got this new guy that, remember episode 1, he came in like a tuxedo because he's been at a modeling shoot. But he's been on some other show that was based out of Huntsville, Alabama. But it turns out he has like lots of kids out of wedlock while he was married to this other lady. He's like, I think he's a bad dude. He's good looking, but he's a bad dude, I think.
It is terrible. I wonder where is everybody meeting these people?
Social media.
Is that, do you think?
Yeah. I think, yeah. And what about Sonia? She's got no storyline. And
no, she really doesn't. It's interesting, but I love her family and I love the family dynamic. Watching them, you know what's so interesting? Sonia and also Marlo, they are like, there's some actors. Every time you see them in a different movie or whatever, they look totally different. Marlo and Sonia look, to me, totally different depending on like either their hair or what they're wearing or where they are. I did not recognize Marlo in one scene. I was like, who's this? And it was Marlo. Yes. And I was like, oh, her hair was different. I find that incredible. It's so chameleon-like. But I really like Sandy, but now I feel like I don't know what she looks like. Like if Candy was wearing like a bald head, I would know it's Candy. You know what I mean? Yes. It's very interesting. But she doesn't bother me, Sonia. I just feel like I like watching her family. I feel like maybe she's not treading water, but like she's just trying to interface with the group to sort of stay part of the group.
Yeah. At BravoCon, I saw Marlo in the lobby of the Gansevoort where I saw everyone. And I was like, oh, Marlo, like, I love you. And, took a selfie. And this other girl was with her. And I assumed it was like Marlo's assistant because she's, rolls deep. And I took a picture. I was like, thank you so much. I realized later it was Sonia. And I never said a word to her because I didn't know who she was. And she'd been on one season. And I felt terrible. But then I was like, well, she hasn't done anything. Marlo is an icon. Here she's 6 feet tall coming through. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, everybody can have a bad season, but I'm hoping it's gonna get a little better because I keep I'm watching it because I'm just always gonna watch it, but I'm not invested yet.
I hear you. I also thought like my personal television watching habits have changed dramatically in the last maybe 2 years. I don't know if it's just my age, but I find myself not as focused sitting watching the way I used to. I've always been restless. I've always been a terrible sitter watcher. Like I need to be folding laundry, doing dishes, cooking, chopping, doing something. But now I find myself like holding my phone in my hand while the TV is on and just sort of paying attention a little bit less, which is an odd thing to be aware of. And I find it happening more and more. And I notice from friends of mine, my contemporaries, a lot of people are doing the same thing. They're like, yeah,
I know.
I was not watching during that moment. And when it used to be, when we were kids, you sat in front of that television, you only peed or got more Diet Coke during a commercial break.
Right.
Everybody would scream, it's on, and you had to run back
Yes.
to the TV.
Yeah.
And I wonder if part of it is that now you can pause, wait, go back, and you can manipulate everything. So maybe our brains know that we don't need to be as focused in each moment.
That's so true. And it's such this, we give it to the generation below us, like, oh my gosh, they're always on their phones, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, really, I am too. And if I'm not taking notes for a show, which a lot of the time I am, if I'm watching something just for fun, which doesn't happen all that much, I am usually just like checking my phone. Oh, let me play with my words with friends, or, I got to check something. I don't know why. Why do I have to check anything? I should just be focused on what I'm doing.
Just focus. I will say, all that said, last night or 2 nights ago, I discovered that season 3 of this show that I love was finally released. And season 2 came out almost 8 years ago. And it took them 8 years until they could all get together and shoot the final 3rd season. It's called Happy Valley. It's a British television series.
Yes, I saw Happy Valley. There's a 3rd season?
Season 3 came out and it's available. And
note. Happy
Mary
Valley.
Payne,
It's so good. It's so good, that show.
It has been a long time since I was riveted. I didn't move. I was holding a fork in my hand having dinner, and I held that fork for maybe 20 minutes before I took a bite because it kept me at the edge of my seat. I was so excited. I'm so upset. It's only 6 episodes, and it's a trilogy, so this is the end of it. But it is a rare occasion that something kept me. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't look at anything. I just watched Sarah Lancashire on the screen. So, I think it's nice to know at least I have the ability to sit and be focused. But
it's those kind of shows that you can be like a real drama or a black comedy or something. Like I feel that way when I watched a while back Bad Sisters. So good.
I loved it. Loved it.
And I wouldn't turn away. And something like Happy Valley, when I watched that when it was on before, same thing, because you don't want to miss something because it's all part of whatever's happening. And if you miss it, then you might later on. Did you watch Killing Eve?
I did. I didn't watch the last season. Maybe a season, my DVR, I have DirecTV. My DVR had like season pass and it recorded a whole season. And then I was like, oh shit, I missed that whole thing. And I gave up on it. But I loved it, but I loved it a little bit less each season.
Yeah, that they wrapped it up nicely at the end. And that Jodie Comer, the actress, I just love staring at her so much. She's so beautiful.
Incredible too.
Yeah. She's a great actress.
She was Tony nominated this year. Or did she win a Tony?
She won the Emmy for Killing Eve.
No, she's on Broadway.
She is? Wow.
Yeah, I have to summon the Google machine, but she I'm sure she may have won a Tony this year, just a few weeks ago.
Do you think that Jodie Comer reminds you of Jackie Schimmel?
I mean, without even blinking an eye, she does.
I know.
She won Best Actress at the Tonys 2 weeks ago.
Okay, what was the play she was in?
Well, I'll tell you. Let's ask Le Google. Le Google, what did Jodie Comer win the Tony for? Killing Eve stars that it was surreal to win a Tony for her performance in the explosive one-woman play Prima Facie. Prima Face. Jodie Comer scooped the Tony Award for Best Leading Actress for her performance in the one-woman play. Yeah,
One-woman play.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Well, because I know Sean Hayes won for Goodnight Oscar, and I was so happy for him.
He won.
Yeah, he
won. Oh, yes, he did. He did. Did you watch the Tonys?
No.
Oh, it was great. It was great, and I was nervous because they were going to cancel it.
Right, I thought so. Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we're going to do it, but then a lot of actors were like, oh, we don't want to cross a picket line, so we're not going to attend. And it is so important for those Broadway shows to be able to have that award. Then they ultimately did the award show without a script, and it somehow still managed to be 3 hours long, but not all the cheesy jokes. But well, I mean, as a kid, that was always such a high point in my year, was sitting and watching those musical numbers because, you know, dreaming of doing a play or a musical on Broadway. And so it is so important for so many people out there to be able to see that. And the musical numbers were so good. I have it saved on all of my DVRs. And so there's certain numbers that I'll just go back. I've watched the number from Some Like It Hot maybe 100 times.
Well, guess what? When I go, my family, we're going to Paris and London over Christmas.
Yeah.
And guess what we're going to see in London?
What are you seeing?
Hamilton.
Oh, really? Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and that's going to be
interesting.
How
King George plays in London as opposed to how he plays here. That'll be. Have you seen it before?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
It's amazing.
But it was great. We got good tickets. And
about King George, but we know what happened, right? You know. Speaking of King George, I'm sorry. I know this is your podcast, but I'm just going to ask you. You can edit this out. Speaking of King George, did you watch the Bridgerton Queen Charlotte spinoff?
Never watched Bridgerton, and I didn't watch Queen Charlotte. I didn't watch it. You know why, Doug? Here's the honest truth. I think I got nervous about all the sex. I got nervous it was going to be too much sex all the time, and I didn't want to see it.
What are you talking about? That is poppycock. There's no sex. It's still a TV show. There's nothing. You're not really seeing anything.
Well, people were like, "Oh my God, the Bridgerton is so sexual," and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to watch like a."
It's only sexual when you compare it to, you know, something like Room with a View, where there's like a peck on the cheek and a show of the ankle. But compared to Killing Eve, it's Winnie the Pooh. It's nothing. Truly. Well, watch it. Download it for some aeroplane or some such time when you have time to watch something, because it's beautiful. It's very cool, sort of a contemporary take on, you know, old on a period piece. I love it.
Well, I did love Downton Abbey. So.
Well, speaking of Downton Abbey, and then we can wrap it up. You know who is in all 3 seasons of Happy Valley?
Yeah.
The actress who plays Sarah Lancashire's sister was O'Brien, the bitchy maid from.
Oh, the bitchy maid.
Yeah, season 1 of Downton Abbey. And actually in season 2 of Happy Valley, like half of the Downton Abbey cast was in it. The villain was, who was the butler who nothing ever good happened to him? Poor thing. He worked, you know, he was always trying to be the butler at Downton Abbey. Mr. Mosley. Mr. Mosley was like one of the villains in Happy Valley season 2.
Mr. Mosley, yes.
I sort of have a crush on Mr. Mosley.
Oh my gosh. Who was the actor that played the gay butler?
Oh,
God, he was so good looking.
Yes. What's his name?
I don't know. He's very handsome.
No, I can't remember his name. He's handsome. I mean, they're all good looking.
Okay, so this is why we can't only talk about Bravo, because we go in 12 directions. So
it's always my fault.
It's okay. This is why I love talking to you. So what are you spraying? What's happening there? You keep spraying something.
I got this cologne I love so much, and I find it focuses. I didn't know that you could hear it. I figured you could see it, but I got, you know, I own these little travel atomizers. Do you have them? So
I get them from Micro Perfumes. I get those.
Oh, this one is Trevallo. And, you know, you take the stopper off of your cologne.
Yes.
Right? And then up, and then you pump it up to fill it. So this has like 100 spritzes, and I have it at my desk. I love the smell of this cologne. So
what is it? Tell us.
Oh, this is Terre d'Hermès. It's Hermès.
It's Hermès. Okay. Can you spell that first thing you said?
Terre, Terre, earth.
Okay. Terre.
Like terra firma.
Terra firma. Terre haute.
Terre haute. High earth. Oh,
so,
it's a new game.
You speak French, yes?
I speak French. I speak English. I speak a little German and Italian and ubby-dubby.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, only people my age, maybe from
Sesame Street.
No, Zoom.
Zoom. Well,
Zoom.
Zoom. Yes. Zuma, Zuma, Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Bebe Spubbo, Abba Bibi Dubba Bibi. That
Yes.
was their secret language.
Remember, Morgan Freeman was on Zoom.
He was on.
Yes, he was.
Oh, it looks like someone's trying to break into my house.
You guys, if somebody breaks into Doug's house live on the air, what are we going to do? He has gotten up. He has left. I'm now looking at his backyard. If someone's breaking in, I'm listening.
It is?
What is it?
You remember I did call the police once when I thought someone was breaking in.
Yeah, it was a raccoon.
An
opossum.
Mm-hmm. So the movie star across the street is having work done, and they're knocking. And I guess it sounded like somebody was jiggling my door here.
Yes.
And last week, I caught on my Ring video people trying to open up my door. So I've been very, very on alert.
Jeez, that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't knock. They literally, you see them walk up, jiggle the handle, they turn around, they look at my mailbox, and then they walk off camera.
Did you post it on the Ring app or the Nextdoor app and let people know?
I didn't. I probably should have. I don't know how to do that. Oh, that'll be the next thing.
All right.
But it's okay. It's just they're doing construction or work, but they're knocking. So it sounded, I guess it's just reverbing.
Is it the same movie star that lives on your street, or is there a new one?
No, same.
Same one. Okay.
Same. Anyway, what were we just talking about? Tara
No.
Okay.
We're going to OC. So are you into the season? So far, how do you feel?
So far, I'm sort of waiting for it to happen. That's how I feel. Like, and I've gotten this before. Usually, though, when it's a brand new one, like it takes me a second to sort of get the rhythm or whatever. I'm just not like same thing. I'm not as invested yet. I'm waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Are you happy that Tamara is back?
I am. I've never met Tamara, but I'm a huge fan of Tamara. And here's something you may not know about Tamara. She grew tomatoes last year.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because she had a couple of tomato questions that she asked me. And I was like, Tamara Judge is DMing me? Like, I freaked out, but there it is. So
that's fun.
She's growing tomatoes because, I'm a tomato person.
I know.
So I was thrilled that she came back.
Feelings on Heather Dubrow? Nothing yet?
I never met her. I always find her really fun and entertaining. I think I'm happy that like she's showing more of her family and all of that stuff. The kids, I mean, it's so unrelatable. It's sort of ridiculous. When I went to college, I was lucky that my parents were like, okay, we'll give you a hot plate. I mean, they have like a warehouse of furniture for a dorm room, a closet organizer, all that stuff. So I find that really fun to watch. So I'm delighted. I have nothing good, nothing bad.
Well, what do you think about the theory that, of course, they've bought a $14 million penthouse in Beverly Hills and have sold their OC? So what's the theory there that she's trying to hop over to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I think it would be seamless if she did.
Yeah, I think that would, it would make sense. I don't know if that was the impetus. Like, didn't somebody knock on their door, or at least the story was, right, that somebody knocked on their door and offered them a ridiculous amount of money, which, as preposterous as it sounds, happened to somebody I know and that I know well. Like, they literally knocked on the door and said, I have a buyer. This is what they're offering. So I know that happens. And I feel like that's what happened with Heather and Terry's house. But it also makes sense. Listen, she's an LA actor. Like, I'm surprised that they didn't have a place up here. And given that the kids are going to go off to college pretty soon, they're going to be empty nesters. I don't know why she hasn't been, auditioning or working more regularly in television anyway.
I don't know if Dr. Dubrow, if his practice is in the OC or if his practice is in LA proper. And if so, that's weird that they live in the OC other than just they want to be on a cliff top, 3 gates in looking at the ocean. I don't know. Seems like
Well,
you could.
it turned out I'm glad you asked me because I just spent that moment asking the Google, and
Uh-huh.
his office is in Newport Beach.
Okay, so he
So
is an OC.
he's down there. He may have an affiliate, like an office up here, like a lot of doctors, like my GP is at his office, but he's also at Cedars, for example. So
Right, right.
like Terry Dubrow, I'm sure has, what do they call that? Like privileges or something where you can
Oh,
work at
yeah.
another hospital. So I bet he does, but it does. I just looked up his office address and it's in Newport Beach.
Okay, well then that's why. But I
Yeah.
mean, he can afford to have a driver drive him out there every day. They're fine. A
Oh, of
helicopter.
course. Of
Sure.
course. Yeah.
Well, what else? I know that you're a big Below Deck fan, and you and I were texting yesterday. I have not watched Below Deck in a long time, but I did used to watch it pretty regularly. And the
Yeah.
minute they would put those, they would just flash on those requests. I would always screenshot it and then zip, 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 and like try, because they'd give it to you in a couple of shots, so you could really almost read the whole thing.
Yes.
Because I'm like, if they didn't want you to see it, they wouldn't put it up. But some of this stuff
Agreed.
is so ridiculous. What did you screenshot that this latest guest wanted?
That this guest wanted to be treated like a princess. That was just that one line. But of course, the primary had like 3 pages of requests. Interestingly, they got rid of showing us the preference sheets for a couple of seasons.
Okay.
Now they're back to letting us see them. What they also do, they showed us the first and last name of each guest.
Oh.
Which I thought that was interesting. And they started this new thing. Maybe they started 3 seasons ago or 3 Below Decks ago. I think it was a Below Deck Med, where they'll have the chef, the chief stew, and the head deck guy, whatever, each read a paragraph like they're reading to children. And it seems very strange. They're like, who will take the next paragraph? And so like Daisy will read something, the Colin will read something, and the captain will, it just seems very strange. But I love a preference sheet. I love seeing what people are allergic to. I love seeing how people like their steak, what their salad dressing preference is, all that stuff. So, but I have been a screen grabber or pauser screen grabber for a very long time. Mary Payne, there's back in, I guess, when I used to do a lot of the Facebook before I used Instagram, there's a group called the Whispering Aileens in
Yes.
Facebook. Okay, so I'm a member of the Whispering Aileens.
Same.
And it was, so it was a big group, and it was the episode of New York Housewives where they're going to go to visit Bethany's agave farm where she makes the tequila.
Sure.
And so they're in her apartment, and her assistant and they're going over the itinerary. And I paused it so I could read it. And the bottom line said, and in the bathroom, agave themed amenities with like 7 exclamation points. But they never discussed it. And I remember I took a screenshot, and that Whispering Aliens group at the time, at least, was so cutthroat. Like if you made the wrong kind of comment, people came at you. Yes. And I called my friend George. I was like, do I post in here? Do I not? It would be my first time posting. He was like, all right, good luck. And I posted, and people thought it was funny. And I was like, okay, I'm okay. I was so scared. But I've been screen grabbing those sorts of things a long time because you like to look, and it's true. You only see it for a second. So I love looking at when. So in fact, here's a question. When they show us people's texts on like Housewives, so is that, do you believe, a representation of what the text was? Is it like an actual, mocked up screen grab? I'm always curious if those are real.
Well, so like on some of the shows we cover, like 90 Day Fiancé and Love After Lockup, they will show the person looking at their phone like they're mad because they caught somebody doing something. And in that moment, the camera will go behind them and then probably, in post, they'll blur like a last name or whatever. But I'm always screen grabbing that as it rolls up to get every single thing.
And you can see how their name is listed in that person's phone.
Yes. Yeah. That has like a little smooch next to it or something.
How charged their battery is on their phone. Yes. All those things to me are important.
If they have a Samsung and then I'm judging them. But that as far as like when they show on Housewives, I think the production value there is superior in that when they show it and I think that's a recreation. because they show it
It
like
is.
full screen size. Full screen
Right,
size. I
full
think they
screen.
just
So,
recreate
but
it. Yeah.
is it verbatim, or is it like Melissa Gorga says, and then she said something like, I never wanted to be your sister-in-law anyway, and then that's what they showed. Like, but do you believe it to be the actual text of the text?
I believe it to be the actual text of the text. I think they
Okay.
just make a screenshot and then repeat it. And I do love a good receipt. But I do like how Andy's sometimes like, well, I mean, anybody could fake this, because you can just super easily in your phone, if you want to, change your name and then change whoever's writing you's name, and then say, I could an exchange between us. I could say was between Jeff and Shane. I could create that.
You could
you could doctor it, but a lot of these housewives don't have those skills. They're our age.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Before we came on here, I put up an Instagram story regarding a 90-day recap that I did earlier this week, and I was like, 10 pictures or so. So it's a story. So I had to get it. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, how much time do I have before I talk to I got 30 minutes. I can do it. 30 minutes is how long it takes me to do these things. It's a long time, Doug. And I'm faster. I just got a request from our ad agency that we're with, said, hey, this certain advertiser wants to know if they re-sign or whatever, would you do a TikTok about it? I was like, hell yeah, I'll do a TikTok about it. I've got 2 kids living in my house that would have to help me, but yeah, I could do it.
Yeah. I didn't download TikTok. That seems too aggressive for me.
If you think that you get stuck watching Instagram reels, it's at times a million with TikTok. I don't allow myself to get on TikTok because I know it's a time suck. It'll take hours of your time. Hours.
There's somebody making money as me on TikTok. They have my picture, my name. It's my exact Instagram profile or whatever, including like my link tree or whatever. I don't think any of it works, but it's me, and it says Doug Budin, but it's not me. I'm not on TikTok. And they have more followers than I do on Instagram. They're probably like monetizing it, and it's not me.
Of course they are.
And I complained to TikTok, and they were like, well, what's your account? I said, I don't have an account. I have, people on sent me screen grabs of this on Instagram, and I had to send TikTok a photo of me holding my driver's license, and I filed a report. That was last week. So I don't know if it's still there. Yeah.
Well, I can look them up.
Terrible.
I can try to expose them. This is not Doug Budin.
Yeah, there's a couple of like at like Doug _Budin. None of that is me on TikTok because I'm not on TikTok.
Well, so if you join TikTok, you're going to totally have to use a fake name. You could go on TikTok anytime and look up whatever you want. It'll just say like user 1272927,412. It like has this like huge number behind it.
I clicked on a thing and it said like you have to download or install TikTok in order to view this, or that's what it said. It was muted, and I tried to unmute it, and it said I had to download it. And I said,
oh, well, I'm going to tell you, it's a time suck, but you learn a lot.
That's what I've heard.
You learn a lot. You get great Amazon finds, Target finds.
And Shane and I are doing a series of these TikTok dessert disasters on Cooking Kibitz. So
I saw that one.
We've done 2 now, and we've got a 3rd coming up July 6th. So, but I get those, people send them to me from TikTok. But what's nice is somebody will like screenshot or screen grab the recipe and what it is, and then that's how I get it.
Shane on Cooking Kibitz is so funny. Because if you just turn around to do anything, he just preens and poses at the camera and just looks at, you can tell he's only looking at himself and not the comments. He's like, hi. I mean, he's so funny on your Cooking Kibitz. So funny.
Always delighted when he comes by. I mean, it's like, I'm the same age as his parents, for God's sakes, and yet.
No way. How old are his parents? 50 something?
His parents are like in their mid-50s. Yeah.
But they have like 4 kids. Well, I mean, I guess I could have 4 kids and I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I could have a dozen kids. Straight guy. The thing is, he's incredibly bright and witty and fun, and it's really I enjoy hanging out with him. Truly, it's he used to work for Sirius
Yeah.
And so when Jeff's show was first in the new Sirius studio, we used to see Shane and Alyssa on the monitor because they were both in New York, and that's who worked on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he brought Shane out here, and then Alyssa moved out here. So it's really, as our orthodox, or I was going to say, as my people would say, it's beshert. You know that word, beshert?
Meant to be.
Meant to be. It's beshert. Exactly.
I learned a lot from Jewish matchmaking, Doug. A lot.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, all right. So back to Beshert.
Yes.
That means meant to be. Yeah, I do love everything about the Jeff Lewis Live. I love the Jeff Lewis channel, and I love the show. And you've got to get a travel show over there. I am doing this Paris-London trip, and I have lots and lots of questions for you that I will be sending your way. But we're not quite there. It's December, so I'm going to start probably bothering you in September.
Not a problem. I answer a lot of questions, and I don't mind. What upsets me is when people will DM me like while they're at the airport stuck. And
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry that I'm not like on call. I may not see it until the next day or whatever, but I don't mind people asking me. And I know you, so I really don't mind you asking me, but I don't mind looking into stuff for people.
I've already researched, our seats and everything, and we've already done that. And you'll be very proud to know that we got to use we bought 2 tickets on points, and then 2 we paid for, business class back and forth to Europe. So we were very happy that we had enough points to buy 2 business class tickets. I mean, we've been saving them for so long because we're like, one day we're going to take these kids to Europe, and we can't sit in the back when it's for that long.
So you're going to London and Paris?
Yeah, we fly into Paris, and then we fly out of London, and we're going to take the Channel on December 24th.
Oh, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And our hotel in London, because we're going to be there on Christmas, and nothing will be open, of course, but our hotel, the spa is open all day, regular hours. So we're going to go to the spa for Christmas.
Is it, without giving the name of the hotel, is it like a big contemporary or something Victorian? Like, what's the vibe of the hotel?
It is a big hotel that has a big spa. We're staying in a much smaller place in Paris. And this place was, recommended by the travel agent, and she recommended some that were smaller, but I actually sent the 3 of them to Brian Moylan, who lives over there in London. And he said, this one that I chose is much more centrally located. The other 2 are great, but if you're really trying to just maybe like get out and walk around, this one is going to be better. And I was like, plus the spa is open on Christmas, and that's all I need.
That's perfect. Oh,
yeah.
It's a perfect time to be there too. It really is. And sometimes it's really nice. I've traveled a lot on Christmas Day and also on New Year's. And it is so special to have a major holiday in a different location. Like, you're not doing it forever. Like, it's great to be with your family, and which you'll be with anyway, but your extended family, whatever. It's also really special to be a traveler in a foreign city on a major holiday. It's really, that's great.
And my husband and son are going to go on Boxing Day. They're going to go to like a Premier League soccer match, like a real local.
Ted Lasso of them.
I know. I was like, I think my daughter and I are going to go to a drag brunch. That's what we're going to do.
Perfect. I love it. I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, what else are you watching on your television while looking at your phone? What else are you watching?
So as I said, I'm right now, this week has all been about Happy Valley and back to Project Runway. There have been so many endings this year, like, Ted Lasso ended, Succession ended, and something else that I watched just had its series finale. Now I can't even think of what it was. And so,
were you watching Yellow Jackets?
No, I didn't watch Yellow Jackets.
Oh! So good.
Oh, okay. I'll take a look at that. I have like a growing list. And then, in the Jeff Lewis group, there's this text thread that have a lot of recommendations. And so I'm sort of slowly incorporating those into my list, of stuff to watch. But I really have been enjoying like a lot of scripted television again, which is so nice. I was just watching Citadel, which is my friend's show on Amazon Prime. So I'm watching. I feel like I'm watching a lot of stuff.
I know you're not a giant podcast listener, but there was a really good one that was just out called Scamanda. And she was a scam artist named Amanda. She was Scamanda. And that's really good. And then I'm listening to another one that so far seems great called Undercover of Night, but spelled Knight, about a woman named Sue Knight, who is a scam artist. It so far is real juicy.
Okay, I'm ready.
So if you're in your car, and which you LA people are, it's nice to have a good long podcast to listen to. Yes. So Scamanda, really good. And then the other one you should listen to, it's called Undercover of Night, Night, because her name was Sue Knight. And that is a good thing to have on in your car. And then it kind of makes you a little happy to get back in your car, because then you can listen to the rest of your podcast and hear a show.
Yeah. I will add it to my thing. I only follow a couple of I follow one. No, I don't think I
better follow me.
I don't think I do I? I don't think I follow any podcast. I listen.
Follow me on, yes, but you should follow and subscribe, because then it counts as a download.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then I'll add. I just found the actual podcast button on my phone. I've been using the search, that purple icon.
Yes.
Find it. So, okay, I'll add it to the thing. Your podcast is in the window when I open up podcasts, because I've only listened to a few podcasts ever in my life, and yours is one of them. So I know
Wonderful.
Your logo is, you're in the upper left part of the home screen for podcasts.
Wonderful. Yeah. And then you'll listen on Thursday to this episode, and then it'll continue to pop up for you.
Okay. Is this going to happen on a Thursday?
This is going to come out on Thursday, because it used to be Bravo Breakdown on Thursday, remember? But now we got to come up with a new name.
Is it tomorrow Thursday or next Thursday?
This coming Thursday, which is tomorrow, because we're recording on Wednesday. And as soon as you're done listening to this podcast for the third time, go over to my Instagram and watch Cook and Kibitz live at 8 p.m. Yes.
Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, listen, if I try to join and say hello, will you say yes, or you won't, because you're at Megan's house? It'll be different.
Oh, no. It'll be on my device. Try to say hi. We have a lot of internet issues. So sometimes when I try to bring somebody in, it made us lose the quality of the thing, but I don't care. I'd rather say hello to people. So send a request. We'll bring you in.
I was chatting on it last week when you had the girl. Her name was Shell. Is that her name? Shell?
Yes, Purcell, yes.
She was very funny. And I was saying things, and she was going, oh, this person's saying this. I was like, it's me. It's me. Maybe it said pink shade pod, and you don't see if it doesn't say Mary Payne. Maybe, you know.
It's also really hard to look at the comments and look at your stove and look in the camera. You know, you want to try to give everybody equal attention, you know?
Yes, I know.
Some comments are not nice. So you start to say something and they're like, oh no, I don't want to finish that sentence. So we're aware of all those things.
It's good to have a moderator.
Agreed.
Well, listen, Doug, you're talking about Cooking Kibitz, and that is your Instagram live show. It's on Thursday nights, and that is 8 p.m. Eastern, yes?
Correct. 8 p.m. Eastern every Thursday on Instagram Live, and my thing is at Doug Budin.
Don't fall for the people that are trying to be a fake Doug Budin. He's verified, and it's at Doug Budin.
On Instagram, not on Tick or Talk.
No tick and no talk. And everybody follow you there, and they can also listen to you on Jeff Lewis Live, and maybe hopefully like Chump's Takeover, Chump's Happy Hour, all these things over on 789.
Thank you for reminding me. In fact, friends who have just finished listening this wonderful Thursday, yes, tonight is Cooking Kibitz, but tomorrow I'll be on the radio with Leah Black. Then I'll be on the with Brandy Julie. And then Friday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, Megan Weaver and I are hosting the Chump Happy Hour live on the Jeff Lewis channel on Sirius.
Okay. I'll be listening to all of it, and maybe I'll call into the after show with Leah Black to tell her I'm doing a full watch of Real Housewives of Miami, which I've never watched because Brandy and Julie bullied me into it. So I should call and tell her.
Call into the after show on Friday.
I will.
All right.
All right, everybody follow Doug. And Doug, I will talk to you later.
Can't wait. Love you.